Hello and welcome from Team Hex Code. We're here today to give you a brief breakdown of our final 4-week School of Code project and to talk about how we developed a social event planning app called Reduno. First off, we would like to introduce each member of the team. I'm James. I graduated in business back at the end of the 90s and went on to work in the music industry. As technology continued to develop, shaking things up in all industries, I decided I wanted to be on the side that was doing all of the shaking.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I used to work in the legal industry, but I found it very boring and tedious. I'm someone who's quite creative and fun and wanted to do something that reflected that, and tech struck the right balance. So now I'm learning to code. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ivan and I'm Italian. I've been living in London for 10 years and for the last 5 I've managed bars, developing great human skills that I feel confident bringing with me in any industry. I've loved tech since I was a kid and I feel excited to unravel the mysteries behind it.
Hi, my name's Quay. I study pharmacology. I've worked in a lot of different industries, but once I discovered you could do pretty much anything with code, it led me to the School of Code to learn more.
Hi, I'm Dan. I like festivals, traveling and socializing with my friends. I'm excited to be joining an industry where I have a lot more freedom over my time and location, as well as being able to combine the technical side with the creative side. We've also got Sinead on our team, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. She has a background in engineering and business analysis.
The problem we're trying to solve is planning social events with friends and family and never being able to decide on dates and locations. Our market research showed that for friends and family, there's a lack of apps to plan events. We also found that people use WhatsApp, but often lose track of what's been decided. Also, we noted that there's been a decline in Facebook usage. Further research showed that there were limited apps that friends and family could use. And we also found that most apps were for corporate events, or they didn't support poll options or post functions.
So all of these issues led us to Reduno, a full stack app that allows friends and family to catch up without the fuss. Reduno is the Italian word for gathering, and since we have an Italian on our team, we really wanted to get some of our team's identity into the app. So I'm just going to talk you through a quick demo of our app. So we went for a mobile first approach because we thought that mobile use is a lot more common now, and from the user perspective, it's a lot easier if you're able to plan events on the go. So this is the login page. You've got the logo here and the sign in. So you simply sign in and it will take you to the about page. So from the user perspective, it tells you the meaning behind Reduno and how you can use the app and how to get started. So one of the things that was really important to us was using a lot of the conventions of a regular mobile app. And that meant having a hamburger menu. So users will intuitively know that they can navigate by using this hamburger menu. So to get started, Dave simply clicks on the hamburger menu and you'll be able to see the home icon, which takes you back to this page. You'll be able to see the logged in user. Obviously, in this case, it's Dave. You can see the events that Dave's either created or been invited to. And then you've also got the option to create an event. So in this case, Dave's logged in and you can see he's been invited to Mary's 31st dinner. So he's going to click on that and it will load up the page here and it will load it from the database. So you can see at the top, you've got the organizer. So Belinda's organized an event called Mary's 31st dinner, and you can click confirm or deny. You've also got the date and location. So in this case, the date hasn't actually been set. And you can see further down it straight away, you can see that there's a poll option to decide that. You can also see that it's a Lemon restaurant. And one of the things that was really important to us was utilizing space because it's on a mobile screen. So for the attendees option, we gave the option to scroll along so the user can see who's invited to the event. And then they can also add members from their contacts if they wanted to. And then below that, you've got the description for the event. So straight away, when the user logs in, he can see all the essential information that he needs. And then also he can see there's a poll section. So what dates suit people best? So in this case, Dave's going to click Friday the 12th. He's going to click on that. And luckily for him, everyone else or the majority also selected that date. You can also obviously see there's an option to add polls here as well. So we've got all of the essential event information here. And if you scroll down, you can see a post section. And again, one of the things that was important to us was utilizing space. So we added a collapse section button. So when you click that, it will show only the essential information. So from the user, they can always see what's important. And then they've got the posts here. So Dave's going to send a comment, and this will get posted to the database, and it will update for everyone in real time. And that gets posted to the database. And then again, if you wanted to reminder of who's going or what the description was, he would just show the extra information here. So now Dave also realizes that he wants to create an event. So he's going to go back to the hamburger menu and he's going to click create an event. So in this case, he's going to go paintballing. And it's going to be in Reading. And he's going to add all of his contacts. And the date he'll do will be next Friday. And then the time is 4 in the afternoon. And then he's going to add a description. And then you can see here the create event button. So when this button is clicked, it will post all of this event information to the database and populate the event table. And then simultaneously, it will do a fetch and load all of this on the event page. So let's click create an event. And you can see now that this time Dave's the organizer at the top. You can see all of the essential information. And you can also see on the hamburger menu, it shows up on his events. And if he wants to be the first comment, he can collapse that. And then that will be the first comment for that event. You've also got the add a poll button. So he could create a poll and said, what should we do after? And he could say, let's go to the pub, the cafe, or a fancy meal. And then when you click create a poll, that poll will get posted to that event page so everyone else can vote on it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass you over to the rest of the team, and they're going to fill you in how we got from this simple idea to Reduno.
I will start with a foundation of the group and the start of our journey. Early on, we determined our strengths and weaknesses and created our manifesto. It was important for us to include what our team mindset should be, some important general ground rules, and how to make decisions if in disagreement. As we all know, naming is one of the hardest tasks. Here, we are using our collaborative voting system to decide a team name. We worked agile all the way throughout, and pair programming has been fundamental for our team. It helped us producing better codes and reduce mistakes while helping and improving team cohesion. Next, an example of our Trello board. It helped us managing our sprint better, keep track of the team tasks, and identify blockers. We had weekly retrospective to discuss what we liked, lacked, longed for, and learned. This was useful as it helped us steer the direction of the project where necessary. Which takes us to risk management. That was important to identify risks that we might come across and come up with a plan on how to mitigate them. We created 2 separate environments, one for staging and one for production. Any changes we made would be tested in staging environment first. For testing, we decided to focus on Cypress because throughout the app development process, there was always a focus on making it easy and intuitive. Testing with Cypress meant we had confidence on our design, functionality, and user experience. Documentation has been key in our project to pass on information to the next person picking up our code. We created README and commented code throughout to make this easier. Next, we'll have our conceptualization with the Disney ideation, which we went through several different rounds of ideation to identify key issues and how they could be solved in a realistic manner. This was a great way of implementing the voting system that we put in place in our manifesto. And our user personas were created keeping in mind diverse backgrounds and different technical skills, as well as multiple age groups. Next, I will pass on to Ape.
Here we have our user journeys. We created detailed user journeys that focus on user login and creating events, as well as adding invitees, creating polls, and adding event details. We also had user journeys for both event organizers and event invitees. Here you can see our epics and user stories. We created high-level epics that focus on our users and key features, while the detailed stories covered our acceptance criteria. Okay, next we've got our domain modeling. Domain modeling early created a shared understanding of the problem and a common language across the team.
This next section looks at how the app took shape and the journey we took to get here. In terms of accessibility, we considered it quite early on and aimed to incorporate it into the design process and the development process. To do this, we used Lighthouse to check and improve upon the quality and performance of our app. Initially, we used paper wireframes and did a basic skeleton, and then we built on top of this using Figma to create low fidelity wireframes to help visualize the app. Because most things are done on phones these days, we wanted to take a mobile first approach. Our aim was to make the application simple to use and intuitive as possible, which would improve the user experience. Creating the wireframes was an important step in completing our MVP. When looking into color theory, we found that certain colors evoke certain emotions. So we chose purple to be the main app color and orange as the accent color, as they were inviting and complemented each other. The high fidelity wireframes show our MVP coming to life. We collectively decided to ditch the purple background and go with a white background, as this helped with accessibility, which was important to us, thus improving the user experience. We then used the wireframes to decide what would be reusable components, which would help us create a component tree. Creating the component tree and modeling the data flow simplified that development process and reduced any errors.
The earlier domain modeling helped us identify the data objects and relationships for our MVP. We also chose RDBMS over NoSQL because of the complex data connections and our experience levels. Here we've got the physical data model. Physical data model helps us clarify and standardize our naming conventions, keys, and audit columns. And next, you can see here how we integrated our REST APIs. So after designing our endpoints along RESTful API principles, including robust error checking, we decided each user interface's data requirements and prioritize which routes to deliver first based on the MVP.
This next section, I'll talk about the tech stack we used. So our tech stack does exactly what it says on the tin. It's reliable and was more than capable of delivering the functionality required by the MVP. We set up our architecture with React on the front end and Node and a relational database on the back end. Why Pern, you ask? Well, this was a tech stack that we were all comfortable with and confident using to deliver our MVP. We wanted to treat this as a learning opportunity for all of us and a way of solidifying what we were taught on the course. So it only made sense for us to use technologies we were already exposed to. When considering delivery and project management, we chose these tools because they ensured continuous integration, delivery, and development, deployment, allowed for collaborative working and increased communication between all of us.
And I will now touch on some reflections and our vision for the project moving forward. As mentioned, we had weekly retrospectives to reflect on our progress during the project, which highlighted blockers and ways to combat them. We also took this opportunity to celebrate what we thought went well. And regarding challenges during the project, ensuring every team member had the same shared vision was something that we knew would be challenging. And we detailed documentation, diagrams, and domain models combined with regular updates between teams helped us to overcome this whilst keeping us aligned with our MVP goals. GitHub merging was also a challenge. So we had group merge sessions at the end of each day, which helped resolve issues we initially faced with troublesome merge conflicts on GitHub. Considering where this might go in the future, if we had in the short term an extra 5 days, we would have looked to finish integration with the front and the back end with lots of endpoints that are already set up in the database, and we would have implemented auth-o for authorization we would have further developed the poll functionality and also added real-time chat using WebSockets. And we would also have liked to converted the app into a progressive web app for better mobile performance. In the longer term goals, if we had an extra 5 weeks, we would further style the app, making it more engaging for our users, and develop additional functionality such as a holiday planning feature with a place for keeping track of important travel details. And we'd like to add notifications, an integrated calendar, and the ability to post attachments in the event section. And having touched on challenges in the project, we also looked at what we thought went well, and a short list of those things would include working well as a team together because we communicated constantly via Slack, Zoom, and our Trello board. Every member of the team had a role, nobody felt left out, and we all contributed to the project. We stuck to our manifesto, remaining respectful and friendly at all times, even when in disagreement. And most of all, we had a great deal of fun learning and building our app together. So thank you very much for joining us for this presentation. I hope you enjoyed our app, and we'd be more than happy to accept any questions via our LinkedIn profiles. Thank you and goodbye.